Meet my bride, let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the speed meter steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill. How are we going to start this? Okay. Meanwhile, back in England, a genius was at work. A mechanical prodigy ahead of his time. This man was something Harry Lawson was not, a man of impeccable character. This man would become amongst the most respected automotive pioneers in England and indeed in the world. And of course, this man was Frederick Lanchester. Like most people born in London, he was born in London, specifically in the year 1868. His father, Henry, was a successful architect. His mother, Octavia, cool name, was a teacher of Latin and mathematics. So, like Dick Clark, he chose his parents well. Frederick was the fourth of 8 children, and he received a quality education in his primary years and for the most part performed well. Yet he possessed both restless hands and a restless mind, and school was not his true focus. He ended his education in engineering before getting his degree to follow his intellectual and mechanical passions. And he was, at first, all over the place. Freddie took a variety of jobs before landing at a company that specifically built gas engines, brilliantly named the Forward Gas Engine Company. While working there as a manager, he invented and patented a new type of centrifugal governor for gas engines, for which he was paid a royalty on all of them put on the company's engines. He fiddled also with the overall design of the engines that they produced, and by 1890 had the company building new engines of compact size, great power, and extreme efficiency. But by this time he was again getting restless. He had patented a self-starting system for gas engines and sold the patent rights for a pretty penny and had a bag of money to play with. He rented his own shop next to the factory where he worked and got into some serious tinkering. At first he wanted to make airplanes. But it didn't take him long to decide that the engines of the time were just too heavy and not powerful enough for his plain plans. So he focused on the engine itself and how to make it a serious screamer. He left gainful employment in 1893 in order to concentrate on developing his engine. He partnered up with his younger brother George, and between their resources built their first petrol engine with a new type of carburetor of Frederick's design, the Wick carburetor. This invention allowed far more control of the air-fuel mixture and revolutionized engine efficiency. Now, this engine was fitted to a paddle wheel boat, but old Freddie had another idea. So he and his brother took to building the first car ever designed and produced in England, which they completed in 1895. And this was an innovative car. He started from scratch and re-envisioned what a car should be from the ground up. A tubular frame to give it rigidity. A 5-horsepower air-cooled single-cylinder engine with modern-type poppet valves. The steering, though still with a tiller, was well-balanced and maneuverable for its time. All he needed now was for the Red Flag Act to be rescinded, which happened the following year. Woohoo! But Freddie wasn't happy yet. He felt that the engine and transmission just didn't have enough gumption. So he began to redesign both, and by 1898 had a real winner. The new engine was 8 horsepower, and the new transmission was an episodic 2-speed with a reverse gear as well, pioneering this type of transmission. He updated the suspension, and with the development of cantilever spring, he called this car the Goldphaeton, though it was actually the same chassis as his 1895 car, just with the updates. But it was a showstopper. It was faster, smoother, and more powerful than any other car of the day, and people took notice. In fact, his car took the gold medal for engineering at the 1898 Automobile Expedition and Trial that was held in Richmond, England. Automobilism was taking off in England, and Frederick had put himself in the right place at the right time. He knew what he had to do. He recruited yet another one of his brothers and opened up a new company, the Lanchester Engine Company, for the purpose of building engines and cars for sale to the general public. Founded in 1899, the first models left the factory in 1900. Making the Lanchester the first production car to be designed and built in England. Frederick Lanchester, throughout his career, was a brilliant engineer and truly a Renaissance man. A man that during his lifetime was truly counted amongst the great minds England had produced. As we will see in future episodes, his company produced legendary cars. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History. We'll see you next week. Peace. Peace.